Hey everyone, welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting. Tonight is Tuesday, November 3rd. Can I have a motion on the agenda? Do we have anything to add?
I'm good.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Chair says aye. Second there, I blanked on what I was supposed to say. Couple of announcements. All right, everybody, here it is. The winter parking ban is in effect as of Friday, November 15th, 2015 through April 15th, 2016. The winter parking ban prohibits the parking of any motor vehicle on the street or sidewalk throughout the town of Ayer overnight, 12:01 a.m. to 6 a.m. and during snowstorms. Purpose of the parking ban is to assist the town of Ayer's Department of Public Works with the snow and ice removal operations. And may we all just add a wish of that we do not have a winter like we did last year. The annual turkey party will take place November 18th, 2015 at 7 p.m. from the Ayer Fire Department. Am I going too fast?
No.
No.
All right.
We had some. Oh, there we go.
Okay. The 11th Annual Ayer Fire Department Thanksgiving Day 5K will be held November 26, 2015. Race starts at 8 a.m. at the Ayer Fire Department. I'd also like to point out that on November 11th, it is Veterans Day. Originally known as Armistice Day, when it was proclaimed by President Woodrow Wilson on November 11th, 1919. In proclaiming that holiday, he said, "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of nation." It was officially changed to the term of Veterans Day by Congress on June 1st of 1954. On Veterans Day, we in this country celebrate all branches of the service, all U.S. military. So I hope on Veterans Day that you will all say thank you to a veteran, because if it weren't for them, this flag would not still be flying. Thank you. Okay, so I guess we have some special recognitions tonight. Okay. So let's see. We have two recognitions. Hopefully everybody's with us. I can definitely see one. Oh, there it is. Two. Yep. Okay, so we are going to be awarding certificates of recognition to a Jeffrey Blood and a Jason Langless. Did I pronounce that right? Okay. And this is both for completion of an Eagle Scout service project. So, want to come on up?
I'd like to hear about that project.
Yeah, I was just
Well,
going to
I
say
was
the
going to
same
read
thing.
it too and have them come up so that they can also be seen by everyone.
Ms. Livingston, may I also come up because I just wanted to...
Yes, you can. Okay, and which one are you?
Captain Floyd.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
And you're Jason.
Yep.
Okay. Would you like to tell us a little bit of what you did?
Well, I told the boys that I'd speak for them
okay,
tonight.
no problem.
Because
no problem.
we're from the Air Parks Department. They both did service to help the community through an Air Parks Department projects. So I just wanted to express our gratitude from our department, especially for what they did. The two projects were actually in the same area. Jason's project was to put together a picnic area in a newly cleared out area on the east shoreline part of the park, which previously had been just inundated with trees and growth and things. You couldn't even walk through it. And Jason and his crew that he put together did just a fantastic job of building a beautiful picnic area with tables, chairs, and even a fire pit. So it's just a really nice thing and a new addition to the park in an area that we never thought we could ever use before. So that was exciting. Jeff's project was in a similar area, but his was to build a fence and a nice decorative fence along the waterway, which had multiple purposes. One was for Jason's new area, which is going to have a lot of children, to keep the children from running into the water. The second is to keep the geese from coming out of the water out onto our fields and doing what geese like to do. And the third was just making it really a beautiful decorative thing. So it was a beautiful project, and I really hope people take an opportunity to come down the park and take a look at what these guys have done. It took them, well over a year both to put their projects together, to get their volunteers together, raise money, put the funding together, and then put the work in to do what they actually did. You can ask them questions about the man hours that went into their projects. It's really quite fascinating, the whole start to finish, what they have to do to get this Eagle Scout project done. And of course, I salute the Boy Scouts of America for having this kind of program, but particularly these two gentlemen for what they did and their services they offered to the Air Parks Department and the town of Ayer. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good, thanks.
You guys like to add anything?
I mean, the area looks great, I guess. I'd really like for people to be able to go down and see the area. Of course, it couldn't be done without any sponsors, so I'd like to thank Hawks Nest, Disc Golf, and Opener, Devons, and Tiny's, and Moy's Lumber here in Ayer for giving me donations to help with the project and making the area nice.
Well said.
Yeah, they cover everything, like, who's on that place.
Well, I think it also comes from the two of you who were able to wake up and showed the inspiration and the initiative. And I think that's a wonderful example that you set for all of us in this town, so thank you very much.
And if you haven't been down there, it looks fantastic. It's a whole new area in the back there that I actually thought, Jeff, your team was doing, so it's actually kind of a surprise when I heard that these guys were doing it on their own, so good job, boys.
You want to get in for a picture?
Okay. So Jeffrey?
Love to.
Town of Ayer thanks you for building a fence along the waterway of near newly cleared section. And Jason, Town of Ayer thanks you for building a picnic area in the newly created section of the park, which includes picnic tables, benches, and a fire pit. These improvements benefit the entire community and greatly enhances one of the town's greatest resources, Rony Park. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job, guys.
Eagle Scouts are so cool, they get so much work done, and
They are.
Yeah, you-
We have to get closer.
takes them a long time, but I got the Webelos. Not good, huh?
Gary's used that line a couple times.
I know a bunch of times. As long as they keep bringing them, I'm gonna use it. No,
Get it?
great job.
Got a
guys.
photo?
Guys,
Okay.
good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parents, you should be proud, as I'm sure you
Yes. This is awesome.
Thanks.
are. Good job, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff, thanks for bringing that to our attention. My packet won't open.
That's some impressive scouts.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a feeling we'll be seeing you two again someday. That's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone here for public input? We actually have a little bit of a room tonight, or a little crowd. All right, Mark, there you are.
Thank you. I would like to mention that the transfer station paving is all complete. We have to go up and stripe out the parking areas and the traffic patterns and things, but they finished the paving on Monday, and it looks great.
Does, it's looking great.
So I have 3 items. The first is execution of the engineering agreement for construction administration services for the East Main Street Water and Sewer Project. This is a requirement of the funding program from USDA on the project, and they won't release the project for construction until we give them an executed contract. And I recommend, we usually do one of these types of agreements, whether it's the U.S. government one, which is 60-plus pages, or
That's small for a U.S. government guy.
and this is a standard agreement, and I've gone through it. And basically, the USDA puts sections in and takes sections out that protect both the town and the USDA from the funding services. So So the agreement is for $48,000 for the actual construction administration, which means handling all of the paperwork, the shop drawing review, really managing the contract, and then $117,000 for having an on-site resident engineers during construction. And that's all included in the funding.
What was the total amount?
The total is $165,000, and that's a not to exceed. The resident engineering is based on a per hour cost up to so many hours. And I believe that's for execution by the chair.
My packet won't open, Gary, so I'll get used to making the motions tonight. Janice?
Oh, sorry, Gary. Yes.
Mark, this says 28th of March, does that mean anything? 24th of March,
What does it say there?
top line of the agreement?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it does.
that's a different one.
Oh,
That's the next. I didn't give you a copy of this. I asked Carly if you wanted,
Oh,
a copy of the agreement, and she said no, because it's gonna be about
Okay,
1,000 megabytes.
all right. I'm glad
That's
I-
how many, that's a kilobyte? 1,000 megabyte, okay.
Okay, because those are...
And as I said, this is a standard form of contract that a lot of government departments use and a lot of engineering firms use. And as I said, it's gone through and there's certain things that they've highlighted and certain things they've crossed off.
So this is a
to modify it.
USDA
It's a
requirement.
USDA requirement, yes.
To make a motion to approve a contract between the town of Ayer and Weston Sampson
Yes.
for an engineering contract for the East Main Street construction, $48,000 for construction administration, $117,000 for resident engineering.
seconded.
Signature by the chair.
Yeah, so I was gonna add, sorry.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Okay.
Okay.
Passes.
The next item is the engineering services agreement for World Tech Engineering for the East Main Street roadway design. And that's a multi-phase project. We authorize them to do what's called the functional design report, which is basically coming up with the concept of how we're going to design it, where they do traffic studies and use that to come up with a concept. So we, the agreement that was executed on March 24th was just for the functional design report. They're close to completing that and ready to begin the 25% design. So the next phase is the 25% design, which is a total of $98,660. And so what I have is an amendment to this contract
Okay.
that would authorize the engineer to proceed with the Phase 2 scope of services. And that's for execution by the chair.
Yes. Here.
Oh. I'd like to make a motion to approve a contract between, engineering service agreement between the town of Ayer and World Tech Engineering for the East Main Street roadway improvement project from Mass DOT in the amount not to exceed $98,600.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Chair says aye. Passes.
Excellent. And last and certainly not least, I believe that I updated the board back probably in April with the Energy Committee's been looking at purchasing the streetlights from National Grid, and I did an analysis and prepared a memo for the Energy Committee dated April 15th, which showed that it's cost effective to purchase the streetlights from National Grid, and even more cost-effective if we purchase them and upgrade to LEDs. And we do have the opportunity to get a grant for part of the LED upgrade from our Green Communities status. And I attached the April 15th memo, which has the cost analysis. So the next step at that point was to request a formal inventory and price from National Grid. So Robert and I put the letter together and sent it in back in May. And as with many public utilities, we finally received a purchase price and inventory on October 14th for $7,738.71. And that's for five.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, part of it is, the majority of it is that the public utility depreciates their assets, so a lot of the lights have a value of zero.
Right.
And so it's to purchase 517 lights in town. And I think in my analysis, I think I used a price of $7,800.
Yeah, I thought it was 8,000.
Yeah.
So $7,800. And then I looked at O&M costs. And so what I'm recommending is that the board authorize Robert to send a letter to Grid stating that we want to purchase the lights. It will take between probably 2 to 4 months at the quickest before we can do the actual sale, but we've got some other work we need to do between now and then. One is we want to verify the inventory. Now, we're not going to check every single light, but we'll pick areas in town and try to do an inventory of about 25% of the lights. And then we also want to figure out how we're going to procure the LEDs and what the different purchase options are, what the grant schedule is and things like that. And then we also have to determine how we're going to maintain the lights. And because we don't have the equipment, so we would have to hire a contractor. So what we'll do is put together an RFP to hire a contractor to do our maintenance. And we may include the upgrade as part of that
Installation, I'm
contract
assuming,
too.
as well.
Yes.
Could we hire a town, like the one next
Yes,
door?
yeah. Actually, I talked to Littleton, and they weren't.
No, it's a good idea.
No, I talked to Littleton. They weren't very interested. Groton may be interested. I know. I want to say is it
want
Sterling? I think Sterling does Lancaster's lights. Wellesley does Devon's. So there are municipal light companies that do it, and then there's also a lot of electrical contractors that will do it also. And so one of the options is you could do a turnkey contract where you hire someone to design, install, and maintain the LED lights. That's allowed under the I forget which general law it is, but the energy procurement law. You can do a turnkey, or you could do it in separate pieces. So we'll look at those options and report on that.
Reading Light wouldn't be interested.
I don't think they do. They have a pretty big territory. I don't think they go out of their territory.
Yes, Robert.
Madam Chair, and as mentioned in the superintendent's memo, what we're asking tonight is the authorization for the intent to purchase them. As the board's aware, and Mark outlined, with your approval, we can do the procurement, the LED design, all of that. It's still subject to approval by town meeting in the spring, but we're both confident that, subject to the approval tonight, that we will be prepared with an article for consideration by town meeting to actually purchase them, to complete it.
Well, we actually, for the LED upgrades, we actually probably have enough money in our streetlight budget to buy them outright.
Right.
With the net metering savings we've been seeing, we've been coming in under budget on our actual lighting line item. So that's what I would say at this point, is we ought to pay for it out of the money in that line of that budget.
Can you do that, Lisa? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's $7,800, so it's not like it's a huge capital expense.
Right, because what are we, 75,000? Our streetlight budget? Yeah.
I'm
We turned
76,400.
back 38 grand in that line last year.
Yeah, they turned it, yeah.
Oh, so we should be in good shape.
Yeah. I am buying some spare parts for our streetlights, but I looked at that versus the budget, and I should be all set.
Me? Make a motion that we authorize the town administrator to send National Grid a letter accepting the cost of the LEDs as outlined on the technical memorandum by Mark Wetzel dated April 15, 2015.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And Mark, you'll include areas where we might need more lights.
Right,
less
so
lights.
when we get to the design phase, that's when we start looking at what do we have where and what do we need more of, and it may be, and then there's also some cool things that are happening where you can put controls in them, so you can say, we're gonna turn this area off at, midnight, we'll leave this area on all the time, or we're gonna dim this area. And then also, they're just really starting to look at it, but they're also putting Wi-Fi
Yeah.
in the controls.
Yeah.
So you've got this network throughout the town. And that's still kind of, I don't
Cameras.
think they're quite there.
Cameras,
Cameras, we don't have traffic lights, but if you did, you can control those through your street light system. And so there's a lot of different things you could do. And that's part of what we'll evaluate. We don't want to put in 520 new streetlights and then say, oh, we should have done this.
Right. This one, so the stuff like on 2A or Littleton Road, that's all state lights or those?
Those are, I'm pretty sure those are ours.
There isn't many.
Yeah, there's not
Once you
many.
get-
Littleton Road has some.
Once you get past like Epic or
Right.
Blue
Yeah.
Northern, there's nothing there
Well,
for
it's
that
like
entire
spread
stretch.
them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
And
pay,
Central Ave has
I think we pay all the lights
4,750
in
of
town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Central
The-
Avenue.
Has about 4,000.
Yeah, I know it. Okay.
All right, that's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, so Scott isn't here at the
Gas
moment.
lamps.
He had sent us an email saying he might be delayed, so Stephanie? Stephanie doesn't mind going 2 minutes early, right?
Oh, no. Not at all.
Because this is ridiculous. This iPad needs to go to Cindy when I'm done here.
Well, thank you to Scott for being late, so I can go early. Okay, this,
I think I
that's.
have it, yeah.
Oh, you have it, okay. And you have to read the whole thing?
I'm gonna read it right now.
Well, yeah, we're going out for borrowing, and we have a bond and a ban that we have separate borrowings for. The ban is 0.5584%. That's the rate we got, that's the NIC. And the bond is 1.929%, the interest rate is. The bond is for $1,873,000, and the bands are for $1,534,235.
Do we want to vote on these before I read this as voted? Or do you want me to read the?
Town meeting already approved it.
Oh, okay. So it's just
The
a
borrowing.
matter of public record. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm ready to go.
And I do want to point out before you get going, I don't have all the paperwork that you normally sign. That will be coming at the end of the week, and it all needs to be signed by next Tuesday. So if you could find time to come in and sign.
All three of us?
Yep.
Oh, great. We know how often I visit the building. Sure.
Do you want to make an appointment?
All right, let me just read this. Do you want me to read the entire sheet?
Ye-
Year,
yes, both.
amount, interest
Yep,
rate?
both sheets,
All right,
and
everybody
then you
get
sign
comfortable.
at the bottom.
I, the clerk of the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Ayer, Massachusetts, the town certify that at the meeting of the board held on November 3rd, 2015, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified, in which a quorum was present, the following votes were unanimously passed, all which appear upon official record of the board in my custody. Voted the sale of $1,873,000 general obligation municipal purpose loan of 2015 bonds of the town dated November 19th, 2015. The bonds to Fidelity Capital Markets, a division of National Financial Services LLC, at the price of $1,984,551.02, and accrued interest is hereby approved and confirmed. The bond shall be payable on November 15th of the years in the principal amounts and bear interest at the respective rates as follows. 2016, amount $413,000, interest rate 3%. Year 2022, amount $85,000, interest rate 2%. 2017, $335,000, interest rate 5%. Year 2023, $80,000 is the amount at 2%. 2018, $210,000, interest rate 5%. Year 2024, $75,000 at 3%. Year 2019, am I going out of order here? I am, Melanie.
Out of order? No?
Yeah, I'm
You
supposed to.
read it straight across.
I'm reading it
like
straight
you would
across.
read- like
Yeah,
you would read it,
yeah.
so.
I'm going to continue that way.
Yeah.
Year 2019, $115,000 at 5%. Year 2025, $70,000 at 2%. 2020, $100,000 at 5%. 2026, $65,000 at 2.25%. 2021, $85,000 at 2%. Year 2030, $240,000 at 3%. Further voted, the bonds maturing on November 15th, 2030, a term bond, shall be subject to majority redemption or matures as follows. Term bond due November 15th, 2030. Year 2027, $60,000. 2028, $60,000. 2029, $60,000. 2030, $60,000. And that one has an asterisk that says final maturity next to it on 2030. Further voted to approve the sale of $1,534,235 at 1.5% general obligation bond anticipation notes of the town dated November 20th, 2015, payable November 18th, 2016. The notes to Raymond James and Associates, Inc. at par and accrued interest plus premium of $14,366.70. Further voted that in conjunction with the marketing and sale of the bonds, the preparation and distribution of the notice of sale, preliminary official statement dated October 26, 2015, and final official statement date November 3rd, 2015. The official statement, each is such form, may be approved by the town treasurer and be hereby ratified and confirmed, approved, and adopted. Is there another sheet here?
Have a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to take a drink of water.
Wow, thought I worked hard today. Further voted.
It's a
That-
tongue twister.
Yeah, further voted in conjunction with marketing and sales of the notes. I don't remember anybody else doing this as clerk.
Oh,
but,
no.
I was napping. The preparation and distribution of the notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated October 26, 2015, and the final official statement dated November 3rd, 2015, each in such form may be approved by the town treasurer and hereby ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted, the bond shall be subject to redemption at the option of the town upon the terms and conditions as are set forth in the official statement. Further voted, the town treasurer and the board of selectmen be and hereby are authorized to execute, deliver, continue in significant events disclosures, undertakings, in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such forms as may be approved by bond counsel, tongue-tying myself, to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the bonds and notes as applicable, for the benefit of the holders of the bonds, notes from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures in such form as the treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review, update said procedures in order to monitor, maintain the tax-exempt status of the bonds and the notes. Further voted that each member of the Board of Selectmen, the town clerk, the town treasurer, be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions, execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them, or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. I further certify that the votes were taken at a meeting and open to the public, that no vote was taken by secret ballot, that the notice stating the place, date, and time agenda for the meeting, which agenda included the adoption of the above votes, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy therefore posted in the manner conspicuously visible, it's interesting, to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building that the office of the town clerk is located, or if applicable, in accordance with the alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General as set forth in 940 CMR 29.03 2B, at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays prior to the time of meeting, and remain so posted at the time of the meeting. That no deliberations or decisions connections with the sale of the bonds or notes were taken in executive session, all in accordance with General Law C.30A 18-25 as amended. Dated November 3rd, 2015. Clerk of the Board of Selectmen. Who needs a nap?
We'll sign it first, please.
Sure.
Could you read that again, please?
Yeah.
Didn't understand
He
again.
messed up the
Paragraph 2.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to thank Lisa,
Welcome. A lot of work.
a lot of work, and Peter Frazier from First Southwest. And I was going to mention it earlier and I forgot, but
Do you want me to date it, Stephanie, or just signatures?
No, the date's on there,
Okay.
so that's fine.
Standard & Poor rating, second from the highest, town of Ayer. Good job, you, Tom Hogan.
Yeah, no, absolutely, everybody.
Good job.
Good work.
Okay, that's it.
That's it?
Good,
Okay,
that was- I
thank
thought
you
that
very
was another
much.
one.
And as soon as I get all the other documents together,
Yeah, just let me know as soon as it's ready so I can swing in.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
we didn't vote? Oh. He kept saying further voted.
yeah, I know, and that's what I was asking at the beginning.
Okay, so. What exactly we voting on? Voting on that we approve what he just read?
Yeah, so just, so moved.
So moved.
So moved. Yeah, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye.
All set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Stephanie.
It wore Chris out reading it and it wore us out listening
know.
to it. So,
No, I haven't read that much in a long time, at least out loud.
yeah.
Like third or fourth grade.
All right, so I see Scott was able to make it. So Scott, if you'd like to join us.
I'm just gonna give you this
Hi
iPad.
Scott, welcome.
Evening. Thank you very
Always a
much.
Pleasure to see you.
Thank you. I apologize for, I didn't realize I had time constraints this evening until my wife and I were going over our schedule for the week. So,
Stephanie was very grateful. It moved her up a bit, so she was very happy.
well, I'm glad I could accommodate that. Thanks again for the time to meet. There's a couple things I just wanted to talk about with the board. The first one I do want to touch upon is the relationship between the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen just over the last month and a half. And I know things got a little tenuous at the time. The couple of things, one is, I know that the meeting on the 6th, there was some heated exchanges, et cetera, and some of us let our emotions get the better of us, and I apologize for that on my account. I think that there's been a lot of time and effort put into that study by all parties, and the way that things kind of played out on the 6th quickly snowballed and got blown out of proportion. And I also just wanted to just kind of stress from the Finance Committee that, things that are said in conversation during a meeting are not necessarily the official position or actions of the committee itself. And
We can relate to that.
yeah, so, and I understand context, it comes into play a lot, et cetera, but I do ask that in the future, if there's any question over the position or, actions of the Finance Committee, that you please reach out to us directly, and we can clarify that. But that being said, after town meeting last week, I'm hoping we can just move on and get back to the working relationship that we've had over the last, few years, which I think has been great. I think it's been a good collaboration. The other thing I wanted to touch upon is Gary had some comments on the budget itself, excuse me, at the last meeting. And I just want to kind of talk to you about those for a moment. You mentioned the rate reduction because of the free cash.
Yep.
And you've brought that up in the past, particularly at the buy board meetings. And the question always comes with the same answer, which is, we're not really sure how to do that. The way that the current process is built, we have to put forth a balanced budget to town meeting, which includes, the revenue projections that we do have. So if we get a revenue projection of $21 million, we have to allocate that out within the budget process, even if it's going to stabilization or op-ed. Part of my process that I've been doing the last few years when I've been updating the budget model and I get the revenue is the growth number that's estimated by the assessor. I've generally tried to cut about $200,000 to $300,000 off of that, knowing that the expenses that we set also sets the tax rate further down the process. And I've wanted to try and limit the tax impact. When I did that with the last fiscal year, or this current fiscal year, the town accountant had cautioned that the unused tax levy was actually growing, and I'm not really sure what the impact of that is, which if you want to look at a rate reduction, that would significantly grow the unused tax capacity.
Oh, yeah, but we still got to balance it. I mean,
Right.
the only way you're going to do it is by taking money out of the budget
Yeah.
to
So,
reduce the rates,
yeah, so,
because we're not using free cash anymore.
yeah, so if it's something that you're open to, we can have conversations. I know
Okay.
we're meeting with buy board next week, and we can look into something like that. I mean, it's something I'm open to looking at.
Yeah, well, it's just, this board needs to get more in tune with the budget, I think.
And that's my second point,
Oh.
because that was your other point.
But,
So,
don't get me wrong, the Finance Committee has its place
oh,
as the
absolutely,
Board of
yeah.
Selectmen.
But it doesn't mean we can't work together on it.
Absolutely. And, part of that getting where it is, the second highest rating for Standard & Poor's, is part of the Finance Committee. It's our department head.
It's everyone, honestly.
Right.
It's a great job, and, I'll say we lean heavily on the town accountant and the town administrator for information, and also for, I'll be honest, we rely on the town accountant for a lot of the expenses that go into the budget.
Mhm.
All of our meetings are open, they're posted, and anyone's welcome to join. You've been to some in the past, and, been welcomed into the conversation.
I think, I'd like to see some of the burden taken off you guys, too. I mean, you have meeting after meeting with department after department head, and
We're trying to change that.
we should be able to share in that pain with the town accountant. She can share in
is
the pain
painful,
of
but-
both. No, it is,
Speak for
it is.
yourself.
Don't be quiet and do it.
So-
This year, last year.
Yeah, so to that point, we are looking, the Finance Committee is looking to revamp the budget process, and the primary goal is to reduce the number of meetings. And with your comments at the last Board of Selectmen's meeting, it also got me thinking too, how to incorporate the Board of Selectmen into the process, whether it's just from, getting information sooner, having someone a little more involved at the meetings. We've generally, when we do make changes to the budget model, if there are significant changes and we redistribute the model over the past, we've always included the town accountant on those. And like I said, we have always relied heavily on her to help us tick and tie, and also make sure that we haven't missed anything. Because it's very difficult to do when this is kind of your second job, over the course of 2 or 3 months. So what I would ask is just maybe at the next board meeting, if, you want to gather suggestions or comments from the other selectmen on potential changes to the process, we'd be happy to incorporate those.
Okay.
Because really, I think the budget at town meeting over the last couple of years has been smooth sailing, because I think it's been, blessed by both of our boards, and I think it's,
I guess it
something that
hasn't
can only
been
help.
as a collaborative effort as I hoped it would be. I
Okay.
mean, we put a lot on you guys to do it all just about. In fact, for a couple of years, we didn't even question it, we just did it, whatever you guys came up with. And I'd like to see us more involved in that.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, and I think, Janice, when you and I talked before town meeting, you said it seems like you get it at the last second, and you have to make that decision. So whatever works, I mean, we definitely, it's, like I said, it's not like we sit in a room, going, wah, and putting the budget together. It's a very open process.
I saw that. We saw that in the video.
Yeah.
I only did that at a meeting once.
All right, I got it.
Yeah, yes.
Just to clarify, Scott, I mean, everybody here has the utmost respect. I mean, a lot of people know you and I are friends,
Mhm.
away from the table. I think some of the remarks that were made at this table had nothing to do with you as the chairman of the finance committee. I think it had to do a lot with someone who didn't show
I
their face here
appreciate
tonight.
that, but,
And,
and I understand.
and I know you understand, but I just want to make that public. It had nothing to do with you as the chairman of the finance committee.
All right, thank you.
Unfortunately, it had to do with someone who's
Yeah.
more interested in trying to make people look bad than actually doing the best for the town, so.
Well, I don't really think we need to rehash. I think that.
No, I'm just making a
Over the
statement
past
too.
month, let's just say that
Some people never change,
If-
that's all.
if children did behavior that all of us did in the past month, they would all be grounded, no TV, standing in the corner. So on that note, none of you can watch TV when you get home tonight. You will stand in the corner for at least an hour, okay? I guess what I'm trying to say, Scott, is that our behavior was bad too.
Yeah.
And that,
I think we're both.
I think our
I think
behavior
you're
was
talking,
bad.
speak for yourself.
No,
I don't
know.
know anybody's behavior
I
was
know.
bad. I think that there was frustration, and that's entitled. We all work hard at our jobs. I
Well, I can-
appreciate
I
his
can say it.
frustration.
I wouldn't put words in my mouth. I mean, if
yeah,
you want to say
yes.
it, you say it.
I
Yeah.
said it,
Okay.
I said it.
All right.
So-
Yeah, I mean, right now, we're just looking to move on
Yeah,
and go
but
forward.
we do thank you for being here, and we.
All right, thanks for the
You
time,
are
I do
an
appreciate it. All right, excellent,
Thanks, Pat.
thank
All
you.
right.
Nice to see
Thank
you.
you.
Scott.
Good night.
to see you.
iPad is just, yeah, somebody needs to update it, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's.
Needs new code or something that's
Yeah.
asking for it. It's completely
You
just,
guys have more problems with those things.
no, mine just loaded. I can
Yours-
update it. and,
Does yours not like you? or
I don't
something?
have the password. Cindy does.
Huh?
Cindy has the password for it. so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
gonna
'cause she's
update.
the administrator.
Yeah. So,
All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just have a couple of items. One is a very brief oral administrative update, and if there is an objection, if I could just ask the DPW superintendent, there was a gas leak I notified the board
yes,
about on
yes.
Washington Street, and if there is an objection, you'd just maybe, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, just give a brief update of what happened and what's happening.
Well,
Because some people didn't get mail today. Okay.
okay.
That's right.
We have a water main project going on Washington Street that's actually been going really well, and he was excavating to put his last piece of pipe in, and there was a gas main marked by DigSafe. He excavated around that by hand, thinking that, well, it shows one gas main, and that's what he does, and he did a scoop on the other side, and there was a second gas main. And,
Are they
Can I make a point, and I know Mark, just real quickly, this is getting out of control.
Yeah, it does seem like
This
this.
Dig Safe, and this isn't anything, but I mean, you deal with it
Right.
more than me, but I've dealt with it on some projects I've worked on.
and I
It's
actually
ridiculous.
talked to the executive director of Dig Safe when we had the problem on West Main Street there was 2 gas mains that were marked on the wrong side of the street,
Yeah.
and we knew that, and it's a good thing we called Grid, because it turned out they were some
And-
large diameter, high-pressure gas,
Echo had
and
some,
people would
Nico had
have
a lot of
probably...
issues down on Park Street as well, where they
Yeah.
were finding stuff that wasn't there, shouldn't
And
have
I
been
think
there.
this is
And-
something
and-
happened like 2 years ago up on like William Street and everything.
And I think Grid is trying to deal with that also. They have they sub out to a company to do the markings, and
It's like on target
it's
or
on
something
on
like that.
target,
Yeah, yeah.
also known as off target.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they broke the gas main. The fire department was notified. Police department came up to shut down the streets, and I don't know whether they evacuate. Did they do any evacuations? The
stunk up there.
the highway department responded to set up barricades around roads and area, and so we had a good DPW crew up there. The water department was up there also, and it just took Grid a while to get there. And then when they got there, their valves were all paved over with about a foot of pavement, and then they had to oil them and get them ready to close. And so I think, when did they get it shut down? About 5 o'clock?
So it's shut down now?
Yes, and they were actually, so I went up about 6 o'clock, and they were waiting for another crew to show up to do the repair, so there were still Grid people on site, but there wasn't anyone doing anything.
Are they
And so they're probably working right now on it. I think
High pressure line too, so.
No, not really, it's just a residential, a
pretty good?
2-inch residential, but, yeah, it's, it's noisy and
Yeah.
puts out a,
Stunk.
some gas,
It was
yeah.
up there.
Yeah, I heard it was.
So, so it should be buttoned up by tonight, and the road should be open. I told them I'd swing by on my way out of here, see what was going on, but that happens in construction. I was telling everybody, on probably the first construction job I worked on, the contractor ripped out a gas main, but as he did, he sparked it, and it caught on fire. And actually, that's kind of better, because then you don't have gas drifting all over the neighborhood.
Right,
It's a little scary, but it's,
right.
and, so, that stuff happens, and, thank God no one was hurt.
Just quickly, was the contractor gonna be, he shouldn't be liable if it was marked wrong, correct? Like,
Right.
hate to
I don't know.
necessarily charge him.
I mean, the town has no liability.
No, I understand.
I
that,
don't
but-
know I don't know what whether National Grid then tries to recover money from the contractor, but like I said, it wasn't, there was 2 mains and only one was
Yeah,
marked.
no, that was my point.
And actually, I
hate to
think
see the
one of
contractor-
that was, one of them, I think, was dead or shut off, but,
Oh.
they,
That's crazy.
All right.
so, anyway.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mark.
Thank you.
And thanks, everybody that responded, PD, fire, DPW.
Madam Chair, just a couple of points in the report. Obviously, we're getting underway for FY 2017. It's that time of year again in terms of the budget. The capital requests have gone out and are due back on November 20th for the Capital Planning Committee, and they too are looking at a more streamlined approach of fewer meetings in terms of capital. As we know what some of the, we know what the plan is moving forward outward, so looking to streamline that. As mentioned, the BUY board will meet on November 10th at 6. The agenda to talk about the budget schedule, the budget planning. One of the things in preparation for the Standard & Poor's bond rating call, they had requested a copy of the town's budget projection model, and Ms. Cabri updated that sort of based on the request, and we need to get back to the model to a certain degree as far as the projections looking out. It's not as a rosy picture as one would hope, but we have to come back to the model. We'll be on that agenda as well. The Comprehensive Plan Committee had their second meeting at the end of October. They meet again on Tuesday, November 24th at 6 p.m. And the holiday lights, I want to thank the support of town meeting for the $10,000. And as we mentioned, we would raise from the community an additional $10,000. And I'm pleased to report that as of tonight, we're at $8,400 of that 10. And I want to thank Miss Antonellis for all of her hard work on that. She's really been the point person with that. And a special thanks to
By the end of the week.
all of you who have donated, all the individuals, people that, from $1 to the business communities that have donated as well. It's been a great community effort. And again, just has been mentioned a lot tonight, but I don't think it can't be mentioned a little more, is again, the Standard & Poor's bond rating at the AA+ is a great signal for the town of Ayer in terms of the town's economy, the management, the fiscal solvency, the fiscal management, the policies, and as mentioned, that's a testament to everybody that's involved in the town government, and that is appreciated. And I can't say, again, a special thanks to Ms. Gabri for all of her work in preparing for that rating call. Went very well. So with that, unless there are any questions from the board, I just have one action item, which is a request from St. Mary's Parish in your packet, a request for a one-day beer and wine permit for their fall supper, which is scheduled for November 7th.
Gary?
Make a motion to approve a one-day beer and wine license for St. Mary's Parish, fall supper, Saturday, November 7th, from 5 o'clock to 9:30.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye. Motion passes. All right. So you're
Yep.
you're good?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Chris,
Yes.
you have something.
Oh, you already?
Yeah, I know, it's just zipping by tonight.
Keep it going. As some of you may know, there was a couple accidents up at Willow Road last week. We, as a board, have been discussing this for 2 years, proactively, us and former members.
Probably like 8 years.
Yeah. To the credit of the DPW, Dan and Mark have dug out some agreements that were made in 2004, 3?
2004, February 10th. The meeting was here.
Do you know what the...
February 10, 2004, you knew that?
Yeah, what,
That easily? That's
what direction was the wind blowing that day, do you know? Man, that's good.
That's just scary.
I know.
There's no minutes for it.
I had reached out with the permission of the board to Littleton maybe last winter. That sound right? Sometime
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't cost us, we'll look into it. It didn't go anywhere. I received a phone call on Monday. I'm sorry, Robert, because I forwarded you guys. I think I forwarded you all the
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
But
Last
it
Friday?
makes sense.
Thursday, from the chairman of Littleton Board of Selectmen, that we're going to meet sometime this week and discuss, because now they are adamant to get that fixed and work together. So I'm hoping that, I don't know if we discussed with the person who is obligated to fix that intersection, if he's been notified of the plans that were agreed upon.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody's seen them yet, but
No.
Wasn't it in the email that Chris sent?
Was there
Seen
an
the plans?
attachment?
I thought there was.
Oh.
Oh, I think I missed the attachment.
So apparently
I
there's
read
been,
the email and
Yeah.
it didn't make sense because I was missing
you wanna-
some of the.
So there
Add
were
to it.
plans.
there are plans that have been approved and
Okay.
engineered by Mulaney, who does a lot of the engineering
What
for
year?
town.
Do you know?
When I got involved in this, when I first got here, I came across a set of design plans, and they were actually by Vanessa Associates
Okay.
for the intersection. And there was also a report that went along with that was submitted to Mass DOT. And not knowing all the history, I talked to the developer, and he said, oh yeah, part of our approval was to provide the design plans, and Mass DOT is going to do the construction. And I believe that the project was on the tip list.
That's, yeah.
But if you go on now, it is no longer on the tip list. And then and I was doing an investigation because I was trying to get our water tank built, which is well under construction now. What I came across was as part of his MEPA is the Massachusetts Environmental Policy Act, and that looks at all of the different impacts of the project. As part of the MEPA approval, it was his requirement to construct that intersection improvements at a certain phase in his project.
98 homes, I believe.
Now, but it was,
So
the
what-
wording was such that
No.
the phasing is all changed, so the wording was a little different than what he's actually constructing now. But I think he's well past when he has to do that. And I talked to Paul Ruthier, who's the landowner, and he said, "Oh, I've already talked with the town about giving them the land that they need to widen the intersection." So the pieces are starting to fall into place. It's just a matter of who's going to do what, when, and who's paying for what. And so I think that's where we have to get Mass DOT and Crabtree Development in the same room.
Agreed.
Well, it's interesting, because I was looking at some old meeting minutes, because I had a brief conversation with Robert, and I says, is there any more background than just what you've talked about? This goes back years. So I found in meeting minutes for July 14, 2009, Representative Hargraves arrived and talked about Willow Road. The board thanked him at the time, but said you have to go talk to Littleton. And then on 6 October 2009, the board of selectmen requested it to be put on the agenda for 20 October 2009, and then it just fell off the face of the earth. I got to around November 2010 before my eyes rolled to the head.
It seemed to happen a lot.
So it just kept falling off as far as, conversations on this end, so it's kind of surprising. Well, one, you found something for 2004. Actually, I'm not too surprised by that. But and then he's finding this old stuff, and it's like, where did it all fall apart?
I know there's involvement by MRPC, but Littleton is MAPC.
Right.
Yes, yes.
So that has to be coordinated.
And there
It
was
has to be in their MPO.
Right.
Yeah.
And, we don't always communicate with them on what their transportation plan is. I did talk to to Mass DOT and said, is this still a requirement? And they referred me to their MEPA person, and I was just looking to see if I could find the email. I know Dan had forwarded emails out to Robert and
I just re-forwarded it to you guys with the attachment.
So we have sort of a
I'm sorry, I thought it was
chronology
attached to what I
of
sent you
who's
guys.
doing what, but it's just a matter of everybody getting on the same page.
And Littleton is now very much involved, unfortunately, since I'm a chief. I don't know if you were at that accident, but it was a pretty horrific accident. I know you guys were there right away, but it's that wasn't necessarily due to the road itself, but there are a lot of accidents there because of the road.
Yeah. Mary?
When they had that meeting, and Senator Reeser was here on February 10th in 2004. Part of it was to put a light there because you need to take the Ruthier land to make a turning lane because you have school buses coming down, making a right, coming up the street, and you have people going out left and then traffic coming this way. And I know that both police chiefs did a traffic study because at that time, Chief Rizzo said there had been 43 accidents here, and Littleton said they had only had 3 from their end of it. But she was going to put it on the transportation bond bill. We needed to get the map done and get it to her, and we were going to pay for the design, which was, at that time, the project was going to be $500,000, so it'd be $50,000 for us because you had to do 10%. And they were supposed to meet with her in March, and everything fell off the radar. We never heard anything again until they started bringing it up.
Littleton is actually doing a traffic count, or is that you, Mark? There's a traffic count. I think it's Littleton has counters out there now.
We wouldn't be doing it there because that's not, it's in Littleton, number 1, and number 2, We do our traffic counts with MRPC.
Yeah, so there's a traffic, they got the traffic count out there quick, so that's out there now, the sticks.
Mhm.
So I guess we will have more to report at our next meeting, hopefully a plan. We're gonna kind of meet just to see how we can work together to get this done as soon as possible.
And
So-
your connection with Littleton is appreciated because we can all agree that it's going to take both towns on
Yes.
board to coordinate it.
Right. Yeah.
So thank you for
Yeah.
reaching out to
Yeah.
the board
Do you live
there.
in Littleton?
What's that?
Do you live in Littleton?
According to Jim Fay, I do. I know when my son calls 911, Chief Murray and Chief Pedrazi show up, so I'm assuming he's called there.
Littleton says we're not going there, and they route it back.
Yeah. We've tried that once, unfortunately.
Because this is going to greatly alleviate the traffic on Central Ave too, by getting this done on Sandy Pond Road.
Well, that's it, and then
Yeah.
also, back to where we were 6 months ago with the truck, and Mark putting the signs up with the trucks. I mean, it's a lot easier for the trucks to go left and then go right if it's a safe intersection too, so it could really solve a lot of problems all around. I guess the next one was just a question about Zero Park Street and when we can start doing stuff with the lot. Whether
Sure.
it's charging or meters or whatever, once everything's done for the fire station.
Yes. Through the chair, again, thanks to the town, we now obviously own Zero Park Street, including the easement, so we appreciate that. The next step that I'm going to recommend is that I convene a meeting with the fire chief and the DPW superintendent and the town engineer, and there are two pieces to this property. And first, meaning with that meeting, would be to look at what do we need to do, what is the solution for the permanent flood remediation? And we don't have that answer obviously tonight, but we follow that track in putting together what do we need to do as a permanent flood solution, and then how we're gonna fund it, because there are hazard mitigation grants, but those often are triggered by an actual hazard or disaster that's declared, and there's a timeline. So that's sort of track one for the property. Track two is the parking lot, Selectman Hillman, that you mentioned on Park Street. And we've begun to look at that in terms of, we'll talk about trees in a moment, but having some of the trees removed there, and looking at the lot as far as what do we need to do in terms of the condition of the
Meters,
surface and so forth.
Tickets or
And
stickers.
again, we would discuss, again, it ultimately would come down to the board as to what you'd want to do with the lot. I mean, it was traditionally, it's been used for parking, as we know. Do we want to charge for that parking? And if so, how do we go about doing that?
Okay.
If I could jump in, I had applied for a grant for a parking study for the town, and then we had a change in administration back in January, and they didn't fund the program. But I think before we start charging a fee to park there, we need to look at the overall parking, because what's gonna happen is, if
I
you
agree.
say $5 a day there, it just means there's gonna be more cars parked.
Well, does,
on
and does that mean, we had brought it up before, did we put all-day meters on Pleasant Street to kind of, or something? I know this, that might not be the best solution,
I
but,
think parking meters are kind of old technology.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
you
stale
have
stations.
you can have stickers. or
Stickers, yeah, no, you know what I mean,
stations,
something
or
that-
you can pay with your phone and
Sure.
and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different options,
Mhm.
and I'm not by any means a parking expert, but I think we need to at least start looking at what do we want to do and how we're going to do it, and then we still have that big elephant sitting over there on the other side of Park Street.
yes.
That could change a lot of the dynamics. So I think before we decide exactly what we're gonna do there, that we kind of have to have an overall picture of what we're gonna do with parking in the town.
Will the DPW plow that parking lot this winter?
I would think so. I don't
Yeah.
know who's.
Yeah, no, I was curious about that before. Oh, we were plowing it before? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
if we did it or not.
Does that
Okay.
have to go on?
I know we do the rail trail.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
just curious. And Robert can probably help me on this. This is just something that I was aware of, the tree warding operating budget.
Yes.
As just there's a lot of trees that have been marked
Yep.
hazardous.
Yep.
And apparently there's not, enough funds there to get them down.
In meeting with the tree warden and talking with the tree warden, there is some trees that need to come down that are been marked with white X's by the tree warden, which is the correct protocol. The concern is that some of these trees, due to the budget and so forth, have not come down for a few cycles. And the concern is that if any public tree falls, there's a potential liability to the town, hence it's a public tree. But if it's marked, it can be further argued that the town had foreknowledge of the condition of the tree. So I asked the tree warden, and he agreed to look at the current trees that need to come down, or the backlog of that. And also, as I mentioned earlier, now that we own Zero Park Street, there's approximately 4 trees at Zero Park Street that really need to come down because they're hanging over, they're dead and hanging over potential vehicles. So in doing that, the tree warden is going to go to the finance committee with the reserve fund transfer to request some funding, and he worked with the town accountant today to put that together, to some funding to get on those trees at Zero Park Street, as well as some of the backlog. And then, as I said to him, and he agreed, that as part of the FY 2017 project, that we designed the tree budget accordingly for FY 17. In other words, I think there needs to be some more funding in there to address these trees, a specific line item that deals with details, like any department is responsible for the details.
He pays for the details out of his budget?
Yes, yeah. So I said we need to look at the detail money. And when I say the backlog, we're talking about 15 trees. There's 4 at the Park Street, and then there's 15 town-wide. But
You didn't know this in the budget? I mean, we just had the budget.
I agree. I kind of caught wind of this last week.
yeah. So I mean, we're going to address the current situation through the RFT as at least as a start, and then secondly, in building the FY 2017 budget, have a plan dealing with the trees,
Proactive plan.
right, including replanting, and I discussed this also with the DPW superintendent in terms of having a tree plan. We may put it out to bid to some of the trees, and that's the thing. Some of these trees, it depends on the size and the nature of it. Some of them are $1,000, some of them are $4,000.
Understood.
So,
Can
but
you ask him too, has he planted any trees?
he
'Cause
did.
he's supposed to be planting
He
trees.
indicated to me that he planted some trees down at Peroni Park this last cycle, but I will ask him again.
Good question.
Just a thought.
All right. So I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you, everybody. So we should have an answer. He's going to see the FinCom next.
Yeah, he's going to the FinCom, I think, on the 16th.
Okay.
For the funding to address the current 18th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Gary?
Just a little discussion on what we want to do. Do we want to hire an interim economic development director? Do we want to talk more about what we want to do for whole department going forward? So we really need to get that going if we're serious about FY 17.
Agreed.
So, I don't know, any thoughts?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I think economic director and land use are a little bit different. I mean, I'd like to see an economic director with a lot of maybe grant writing skills for economic development.
Yep.
Maybe aggressive. And that's not a shot at what we had here before, but.
Pedrazi's working though, so we can't use him.
Well, actually, you can have, kind of a director under a land use that has like the grant writing and has all that. Some communities also have volunteers for their economic development.
But Robert, do we need somebody running that? I mean, is Alicia, I know she's kind of been thrown into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Do we need somebody up there to help her? And to be somebody who's going to be responsible for things that she does?
Yeah, if I may, so conceptually, there's basically 3 pieces or 3 major pieces in play. One is the town had an economic development director. That position is now vacant. Is the whole economic development function. The second piece is when we've been using the term land use or so forth, and this board has discussed over the last couple of years, a coordinated effort amongst all of those sort of part-time functions and so forth, so a coordination of those efforts. And then the third piece, which was presented by the planning board several months ago back in the spring, and that's also not a new argument, is the issue of a professional planner. So you have sort of on the table conceptually professional planning needs, economic development needs, and sort of land use needs. And in an ideal world, if the budget is not an issue or if money wasn't an issue, you would have a professional planner, you would have a land use coordinator, and you'd have an economic development. And you do make a good point, Selectman Hillman, too, that regardless of what the town decides to do, the real success will be in the actual hiring process of the individual. I think the town will need to be selective. I'm not saying that the town hasn't been selective, but to find the right fit for any of these positions.
Or one person for.
Yeah. So Alicia, her position as the program coordinator is pretty much, her 32 hours is largely consumed administering the CDBG grant and the housing rehab program. So in the interim, she's been reporting to me since David left.
Is there any clamoring from the business community?
Well, some individuals that were at the previous director's retirement party and so forth, had mentioned that. A gentleman that was on the comprehensive plan committee did mention an interesting point that there are approximately 400 businesses in Ayer. So what about them? And so, I know that, for example, in Shirley and other towns, they have an economic development committee that is mentioned. The functions of economic development are done by committee. Now, again, like anything, it's another committee. The committee is as good as the folks.
We can't even fill the committees we have now.
Yeah, so.
In my envision, an economic director is someone who also reaches out. There's a vacant building on Fitchburg Road, and you reach out and that was where my biggest issues were with David, was when we were talking to pharmacies and other things and other stores. There was no proactive, I said, call until they hang up on you. I mean, what does it got to hurt? I mean, if that's something we really want to pursue.
Right.
And that's where I felt we were lacking a little bit on that.
Right.
Obviously, someone to go to for the businesses we have, but there's businesses in this town. I just went down Copeland Drive just to check out your paving job. I didn't realize it was a beautiful, begins with a C on the left down there, business.
Yeah, I call it
Camberg, a beautiful building down there. I never knew that was there. So, I mean, nice building. So it's amazing how many buildings are in this town, how many businesses are here that we never really hear from.
Well, it's, same with your neighborhood, with Demco and New England Way.
It's amazing how many.
Businesses down there.
Yeah, little tucked in the back, and yep.
A lot of jobs created in that.
Absolutely.
Same town.
What do you?
I don't know. I don't know if we need someone to pick up the ball right now, or.
Well, yeah, I guess that was Kara's initial question. Do we need someone in the interim, or so we figure out what the position is? What's that word I'm looking
And
for? I
there's
can't,
money, there's money in the budget because David's gone. So.
Right, I mean.
But we can still be picky.
For the economic development, there's money, and I think that the challenge will be when we talk about FY17 and so forth, is this land use, this coordinated, we keep using the term land use, maybe there's a better term, but this coordination effort, and what about the planning piece? I mean, again, if we have true planning, it's more than just a site review of subdivisions. As I was talking with the DPW superintendent, we have West Main, the Devon's Plaza, the whole condition of Park Street. There's whole areas that there could really be a concerted, planning effort, and usually your
A
professional.
full-time effort.
Right.
This is what you're saying.
So the
yeah.
challenge that the town faces of the board is, again, it comes back to costs. I mean, the economic development director position was about 60, for the sake of discussion, was $65,000. A professional planner, as put forth by the planning board, in that marketplace, you're looking at a salary range between 65 to 80,000 and upward. And then in terms of the land use coordination, again, you're looking at, so there's some considerable money there. The question is, how do we maximize that approach structurally?
I mean, personally, I don't think, as opposed to what some people think, that we need a full-time planner.
I agree with you. The town is reaching its build out in the next, 10 years or so, if things continue economic-wise.
What did that report say, Lisa?
I didn't
Oh,
even
Bill,
get
Bill.
this information from Robert.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think realistically, it is possible that, I mean, when you kind of strip down everything as to like how many hours, would a professional planner actually be using? How many hours would an economic development actually be using in the 40 hours? And as far as the term land use, we do keep using it because it's kind of the umbrella that we've seen other towns use. But when you think about it, it's just kind of a title that will put all the departments, because even the Board of Health will sometimes be within a land use, so I think some people get hung up on the word land use. But I think really, if you look at a 40-hour week, you could have one person doing those 3 jobs because they're actually coinciding with everything. You really can kind of look and see that each one of those positions has to work with one another, so you could have one.
Well, I guess my idea
a
that
multitasker,
the land use office would be someone who answers questions for everybody on every day and
Well, that
does
would be
work.
part of that whole.
So I know,
planning department.
Mark,
Right.
you probably have issues when there's days that the new guy isn't in for conservation. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Brian, or Gabe's not here. I mean, it's just something,
This happens more often than.
and I believe it does. And
Uh-huh.
I'm sure all the departments have issues with that. So I guess that's more what I'm thinking. But I mean, this is why we're having a good discussion about it, because I think we'll come up with the best solution. I mean, maybe we should look around to see what other communities have too, and
Yeah.
how it works for them. Might be a way to start as well.
And if I may, I know the town of Groton has that position, which it's, I think they call it the land use department head, but it's also the town planner. I think it's the
Mhm.
same role, and they actually just advertised for that. And I'd be curious to hear how successful they were in getting candidates. And maybe you start to try to fill economic development director and see if that job can morph into something, or if that person has some ideas on how they could bring all these other departments together and just improve the communication. I think to go from 0 to 60 and create a whole new department is going to be difficult, where you have an opportunity to hire someone who may be.
But in a sense, you're not really creating a whole new department because you've already got all those functional. You're just realigning
Right.
them a little
Well,
bit better.
I
So
think-
it's not like it's not as big of a deal as I think that the kind of way you made it sound. It's actually a lot smoother, I think.
With the right person.
Yes,
Right, if
well,
you
it
have
always
the-
depends on the right
That's
person.
the-
You know, as
It
Robert
always depends on the right person.
was talking about 3 positions.
In an
But in
Trying to
an
hire-
ideal world,
So,
yes, in an ideal
Try to
world, but
fill one position and see how those responsibilities
Yeah.
work out, and
Yeah.
if you do need to add some other staff or share some responsibilities.
I agree. I agree with that approach,
Yeah.
because
I would just say too, on the front lines, like day to day, Cindy, myself, the town clerk's office, we are just flooded with people. Where's Gabe? He's not here. I came all the way to get my building permit. We need, and Robert says land use coordinator, I say like land use admin staff.
I
To
agree
be
with you.
there
yeah.
40
Uh-huh.
hours a week, or, whenever, to just, he can leave the permits with that person.
When I go to-
They can come pick them
Yes,
up.
and that's an
When I
ongoing,
go to
that's been an
Littleton-
ongoing problem
Yep.
for years.
Yeah.
when I go to Littleton, I don't see Roland when I pull a permit.
Right.
I see his admin position, she's there, I file a permit,
Right.
write a check, and I see rolling on the inspection.
I mean,
Front lines.
we've kept trying those avenues
Yeah.
too, so now we gotta finally get an assistant, so I think we have made some progress.
We have the
but-
assistant building inspector, is
You know-
is the admin position, which Carly mentioned is a key. I think
Yeah,
you're right.
just out of curiosity, because it might actually be hanging up and it's the snake that bit me. Do we actually have a sign, like, here or even on the first floor, the hours and everything for everybody? So that if somebody come in even on the first floor, they'd be able to go, oh, yeah.
We
I
have,
was just,
Well, I
yeah,
think the
I know,
only
I've
one
seen
They're on the
it, like,
website,
on
the only one that
somebody's-
varies is the building department,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Well, and Board of Health,
And Board of Health.
Yeah.
Conservation.
so, I mean, that's just, a little idea.
Hence someone being here full-time.
Yeah, just-
So if
Yes.
somebody comes in at least on the first floor, they're seeing something?
Well, that person could
Yeah.
also be integrated into the planning board too.
Yeah,
And even if Board of Health wasn't here for a day, they could say, oh, someone's coming to pick something up, leave it with this person, because this person is here.
Mhm.
yes,
Full
you do
time.
need a
Yeah,
coordinator.
that's what,
Yeah,
from the front lines perspective,
I agree with
I would
that.
love to see.
And as someone who's
Yeah.
pulled permits in town, it's frustrating when
Yeah.
it's Tuesday, or it's Wednesday. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
can't do it today, but I won't be in town tomorrow, so what do I
Put
do?
an ongoing thing.
I just
Lisa?
want to suggest a funding source, since 2 years ago you funded, FinCom and Board of Selectmen town, funded the building inspection position, department, as if you have a full-time building inspector and you still don't. So there's money, like you turn back like 40-something thousand this year.
Mhm.
So it's pretty much already funded,
Oh, yeah,
Right.
except for maybe benefits.
right. Yes,
well,
Robert.
why don't we then,
Full-time inspector.
for the 17th, that's the next meeting, the 17th, we'll put together a sort of a presentation of the various permutations and decide from there how you want to proceed. Because to Ms. Cabri's point, there's the unused portion of the, in terms of, if the intent is to do some kind of economic development, I'm just saying, there's funding there, we can proceed. There is some funding under the building, as she mentioned. We need to look at the funding source for the, let's say, the non-economic development piece of it. And from what I'm hearing, I don't hear a lot of enthusiasm for the planning aspect. I know that that'll be different on Thursday with the planning board, but
I mean, we had it before, when we had
Yeah.
Chris Ryan here, and
yeah.
he did both. It was more power plays going on than anything, so that was more of an issue. But I mean, he did a good job of separating out what he needed to do. But if we had a type of person like that, could help the planning board, help people coming through the door, help the businesses. I mean, that would be the ultimate, I think. And then a person staffing that could answer the questions, an admin person that could help the planning board.
Full-time admin position that would cover
Right.
those departments, yeah.
Right. But-
Okay.
So, in terms of proceeding on the 17th, I know that Selectman Livingston and I have done some research and some work on some of these scenarios. We could present those findings, and we'll have a sort of a graphical representation of which have you of the various scenarios. Everything from, when I say, if money was no object, I know it's an object, that,
The dream, the ocean
yeah,
line.
right, and then we'll be able to make
And
a
then,
decision from there.
Reality.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
all right.
all right. I looked at the meetings for October 20th, they look good to me.
Second.
All
I
in
read them
favor?
front to back, they were perfect.
Right.
Front to back.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor of approving the meeting minutes from 20 October?
Right.
Aye. Chair says aye. And so, I don't want to say this wrong, because I said it wrong one time. Are we recessing to executive session?
No.
How do we do it? How do we word it? I worded it wrong one time. Because it's been a while since we've done it after a meeting. Could you help, Gary?
Adjourning from
We are
open
adjourned.
session into executive session, and out of executive session to adjourn for the evening. Under executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Exemption 2, non-union personnel contract negotiations, town administrator, police chief, fire chief, town accountant, dash, finance manager.
I was reading up,
Cheating.
yeah.
I'm like,
Section number 3.
I was gonna say, that's when you've been in the chair 17 times, you remember this stuff.
93 sick bank, MOA, moved.
And to discuss these items.
And because it would have a detrimental effect to the outcome.
Correct. So moved.
all right. All in favor? Aye, yeah, whatever.
No, you gotta do it separate.
Yes, that's right.
Aye.
Roll call, Gary? Chris?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. We are out of open session.